It may not seem like it, given the damage it has caused, but the timeline on plastic is actually pretty short. We didn't even use the word plastic until 1925, but in the 50s, global plastic production took off, and the idea of single-use plastics was born. Fast forward to today, we now create over 300 million tons of plastic waste every year, and plastic production is expected to double in the next 20 years. The timeline is escalating at an alarming rate. Our love affair with plastic has caused it to be pretty much everywhere. The problem is, it's also everywhere it's not supposed to be.
We've been taught to believe that the answer lies in the 3 R's, but this isn't enough. Only 9% of our plastic is actually recycled, 12% is incinerated, and 79% remains in our landfills and waterways.
To build a more sustainable world, we need to rewind the timeline on plastic, creating innovations that upcycle our existing plastic waste, and most importantly, alternatives that prevent the production of plastics altogether. That is exactly what we're doing at Enactus Laurier through two of our enterprises, Last 20 and Earthsuds.
The average plastic bag has a useful life of 12 minutes, but at the end of that life, it stays around for another 500 to 1,000 years, and we use 5 trillion plastic bags globally every year. These bags are commonly made of a thin plastic film called low-density polyethylene, or LDPE.
At Last 20, we're upcycling this plastic waste into sustainable pavement. Traditional pavement is 90% aggregate held together with 10% bitumen, a low-grade crude oil. We're replacing a portion of the bitumen with LDPE. Plastic increases the overall durability and longevity of the pavement. It also makes it more elastic, resulting in less cracks and potholes, and more porous so that it absorbs sound vibrations, lowering noise pollution. Our solution is also just as cost-effective as traditional pavement.
Although India has been upcycling plastic waste into pavement for almost 2 decades, it hasn't been until recently that pilots have been initiated in other parts of the world, and in cooler climates. With plastic paving companies in North America all being at the research and development stage, we saw an opportunity to get involved, to create our own solution. Unlike the competition, we focus exclusively on incorporating LDPE, one of the hardest to recycle and most methane and ethylene emitting plastics, to have the highest possible impact on the environment.
To ensure a market for our innovation, we saw interest from municipalities and then brought on an advisor with a PhD in plastic pavement to assist with early R&D. Next, we secured a large volume proprietary waste plastic source and negotiated our first pilot. We brought all the partners together, raised $30,000 in funding, and conducted multiple rounds of testing with CTA labs to determine the optimal mix of plastic to asphalt for maximum strength and stability.
We finally got the go-ahead from our engineering partner on August 12th and started our pilot on September 29th. This is the second plastic pavement project of its kind in Canada, the first ever for vehicular traffic in Ontario. We will be working with Carleton University to monitor the performance of the asphalt. We are lining up future projects with 3 private developers, but the real opportunity is in the public market for road and highway construction, which is approximately $13 billion in Canada alone. Our first pilot is upcycling the equivalent of over 1 million plastic bags. Going forward, for every kilometer of road paved with our innovative solution, we'll be upcycling almost 2 million plastic bags.
But this only helps us rewind the timeline by cleaning up our current plastic waste. With 360 million tons of new plastic produced annually worldwide, what we need to do is stop the production of plastic altogether.
Over 23.7 billion toiletry bottles are used in North America and Europe alone every year. These bottles are extremely difficult to recycle due to leftover product, so they just end up in our landfills and waterways. And traditional products are over 85% water, wasting a vital but limited natural resource. This is the dirty side of soap.
And this is why we created Earthsuds, solid single-use tablets of shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. When you crush, add water, and lather, they work exactly like typical liquid products. They're packaged in recyclable paperboard and reusable travel cases, which eliminate the need for plastic altogether. It's shampoo without the bottle. Since our tablets are solid form, they don't waste water, and the resulting product is 4 times lighter, allowing us to transport more in fewer trips, reducing our carbon footprint by 75%.
But creating an innovative product took time. We spent close to 2 years on research and development to get from idea to final tablet formulation. Production was done by hand, employing adults with developmental disabilities. In late 2019, we were ready to launch our e-commerce site and enter our first retailer. In 2020, our sales revenue, retail presence, and international reach all grew dramatically. But our demand was increasing beyond our current capabilities, and as the pandemic progressed, safety restrictions reduced our capacity even further. We eventually stopped producing tablets by hand and moved to backorder.
If we wanted to create a business built to scale, built to last, and built to change the world, we needed to rethink our approach.
Given we could no longer produce by hand at the capacity required, we decided it was finally time to automate our production. After speaking with several contract manufacturers, we chose a facility in New York that could meet our values-driven selection criteria and that would build customized machinery for our product. While we were setting up production, we took advantage of this time to strategize about our optimal supply chain, marketing position, and channel strategy.
To build out our supply chain with our US manufacturer, we started by resourcing local quality ingredients and found new suppliers for our production molds and packaging. We then signed with a distribution center in New York to cover international markets and a Canadian distribution center to lower domestic shipping costs. To ensure fast and cost-effective distribution, we also negotiated a preferred rate with an international courier and signed with a customs broker.
As we moved to automate our production, we were determined to maintain our commitment to inclusive hiring practices. This year, we employed 8 individuals with developmental disabilities, the positive impact of which is best expressed by Trinity.
UPCYCLE is my very first job, and I am so proud now that I can accomplish anything if I put my mind to it. I did it!
So we've partnered with Ready, Willing, and Able, a national organization that provides assistance to employers to help them become more inclusive in their hiring practices. They're helping us scale our impact by creating new employment opportunities for our participants across the UPCYCLE's value chain. In fact, our Canadian distribution center has recently confirmed their interest in hiring a number of our participants.
We also took advantage of the time to better understand our ideal consumer, how to most effectively reach them, and how to best position ourselves in the market. We dove into the research on green consumers, commissioned a full audit of the shampoo market, and did an extensive analysis of our direct competitors, purchasing every similar single-use option in the hair care space and detailing the entire customer journey.
We found that UPCYCLE, unlike the competition, meets all the criteria necessary for a real, effective alternative. Our tablet formulation performs better than similar products and is significantly more user-friendly than shampoo bars, while still being competitively priced. Combined with our own primary research, we updated the personas of our ideal consumers in both the home and travel markets. This has helped us to better tailor our messaging and guided a full rebranding and overhaul of our website.
The information we gathered, along with a careful examination of the numbers, led us to realign our channel strategy. This year, although we had secured agreements with the 2 biggest national grocery retailers in Canada, we decided to focus our efforts where our margins were strongest, the e-commerce channel. But we knew it would take more than just our own e-commerce site to be successful. Knowing that over 66% of shoppers start their search for new products on Amazon, and with the potential to be the only single-use tablet listed, we engaged the help of an Amazon broker to create the optimal listing, and officially launched on Amazon.com this month.
With our first major production run at our contract manufacturer, we produced 150,000 tablets, saving an additional 14,000 plastic bottles from ever needing to be produced. By automating our process, we produced these tablets in less than 2 weeks. That's the same amount of product that would have taken us 2 years to produce by hand. In fact, we now have the capacity to produce upwards of 4 million tablets per year, which equates to 2.4 million in revenue, of a higher quality and more uniform product that's more stable for shipping.
Based on our sales in the first 10 days since relaunching last month and our increased conversion rate applied against our historical growth rate, we're on track to generate $1.2 million in revenue and $451,000 in gross profit over the next 12 months. Our new supply chain, market positioning, and channel strategy have put us in a stronger and more sustainable position, not just financially, but in our ability to scale our environmental impact as well.
In fact, we are continuing to innovate to remove even more plastic from our everyday routine. To replace the over 20 billion non-recyclable toothpaste tubes produced globally every year, we created Smile Tabs, single-use, plastic-free toothpaste capsules. Our solution has a similar user experience to regular toothpaste, unlike other zero-waste alternatives. Consumers simply twist off the top of the capsule, squeeze the toothpaste onto their toothbrush, and then dispose of the water-soluble and biodegradable film.
At Enactus Laurier, we're rewinding the timeline on plastic, creating innovations that upcycle existing plastic waste and alternatives that prevent the creation of plastic altogether. As of today, we have the capacity to upcycle the equivalent of over 3 million plastic bags with our upcoming sustainable pavement projects, and eliminate the need for over 370,000 plastic bottles with our automated production.
But that's only the beginning. We've created businesses not only built to scale and built to last, we've created businesses built to change the world.
At Enactus Laurier, we're proving that plastic pavement is a viable and necessary technology through our extensive R&D. And as we engage with industry and government to adopt widespread sustainable infrastructure, we will be building a world where all our waste LDPE can be upcycled into plastic pavement, where the 5 trillion plastic bags used globally will no longer enter our landfills and waterways, but will instead be upcycled into over 2.5 million kilometers of road every year.
And by scaling our production and setting up international distribution channels, we are building a world where everyone's daily routine can be plastic-free, where every year over 23.7 billion plastic toiletry bottles will no longer be produced and discarded into our landfills and waterways. In this world, the resources saved could provide clean drinking water to over 631 million people, provide over 2.7 million homes with power, and prevent CO2 emissions from entering our atmosphere, equivalent to taking 716,000 cars off the road.
At Enactus Laurier, we are using entrepreneurial action to create the kind of world we want to, need to, and can live in. One road, one tablet, and one capsule at a time.